So we hear all the time from feminists, right? There are so few false allegations of rape that it's just a rounding error. It's 2%. It's hardly anybody. I mean, why are you worried about that when all these whammons are being abused on campus at the rate of 20%, right? 2%'s nothing. Don't even worry about it. If a few, men are accused falsely, fuck them. They can learn from the experience. Isn't that what one feminist said? I'm sure I heard that. Well, I came across this story, and it's very unusual in a couple of ways. There's so many weird things going on in this story that we just have to jump right in and see what's going on. False college rape allegation destroyed my life, and the man filed a lawsuit. He's suing her for $6 million. Maybe there was a misunderstanding. Maybe he broke up with her and whatever. This is not just another ordinary he said, she said story. Let's see what's going on here. A Long Island woman. Her name is Catherine Reddington, and I got to tell you, she is a very attractive lady, to say the very least. And the man, Alex Goldman, who for a dude's pretty attractive, no gay, right? No homo. A Long Island woman's unsubstantiated rape allegation after a drunken night in an upstate frat house. Got to have a frat house, right? Got to do that. Has destroyed a New Jersey man's life, he says in a $6 million lawsuit. Oh, boy. Ms. Reddington and Mr. Goldman, both 22. The woman claims on social media that the man raped her vaginally and anally in a bedroom of Syracuse University's Delta Kappa Epsilon fraternity, following a party in April 2017. So this is a little over, a year and a half ago. Now, one of the odd parts about this story that I found odd is she just didn't run to the, college campus kangaroo courts and get the guy tossed. She went to the police. Yeah, she reported it to the police. As I and many other people have recommended, if this kind of stuff happens to you, it's horrible. And you're probably going to have to go through a medical exam and all that stuff. But the only way to get these people off the street is to call the police. So she did it. She called the police and eventually the university. We'll get there. And has posted her brutal tale of assault on Facebook in a campaign that Goldman says got him fired from his summer job and could get him tossed from his new college. So she writes, quote, I woke up in Delta Kappa Epsilon fraternity in Alex Goldman's bed, confused, bloody, bruised with ripped clothing, and she writes splinters, but she means sphincter, okay? She's accusing him of anally raping her, right? And so he ripped her sphincter. Reddington wrote, Alex Goldman is a rapist. Okay, so far so good, right? She felt she was assaulted and raped. She had a bloody anus, and she called the police. Goldman, however, and the Onondaga County prosecutor, well, they tell a different story of that night. So she called the police, and they started the investigation, right? It took several months to investigate. Now, this included the medical exam, the rape kit, blood work, check for drugs, rape drugs or rape Rufalin. All this happened within 26 hours of the incident. Now, this is the medical exam, and I assume thoroughly investigated for DNA and all these things and semen. The medical exam found no evidence Redding was assaulted, drugged, or get this, even had a sexual encounter with Goldman, according to court papers and the district attorney. So they searched, her body for evidence. There was none. Not even evidence that she had a sexual encounter with Goldman. So they're both engineering students. Evidently, they woke up in Goldman's bed, both claiming to have no memory of the night before, probably some heavy drinking going on. And another interesting detail, they both woke up fully clothed. That's interesting. So say they did have some kind of a sexual encounter, which allegedly they didn't, because they didn't find any evidence of this guy on her anywhere on her body, by the way. None. No DNA anywhere. But then they were fully clothed when they woke up. So investigators found it impossible to determine what, if anything, occurred that evening between Reddington and Goldman. There is no credible proof of any sexual conduct in this case, consensual or non-consensual. A quote from an assistant district attorney who wrote that in a 2017 letter, which is attached to Goldman's lawsuit, explaining why Goldman was never charged. Reddington slammed the DA's letter on Facebook, calling it disgusting. But Reddington's accusations, of course, were enough to get Goldman booted from Syracuse University by the kangaroo campus Title IX Nazis. So they booted him for this. Interesting, isn't it? How can you be booted out of school if the police investigated? Oh, that's right, Mattress Girl. Oh, I see a big lawsuit against Syracuse University too, Mr. Goldman. Get your lawyers fired up, okay? So now here we are a year and a half later. Now, Reddington's social media posts targeting Goldman's new school and employer show she's out to publicly tarnish his reputation and wreak havoc on his personal life and that of his family, he says in his Brooklyn federal court defamation lawsuit. So is this woman just throwing a hissy fit tantrum here? She obviously believes she was sexually assaulted, even though there was no evidence on her body. I mean, she claims she had, ripped clothes and blood and a ripped sphincter. And you certainly would think these things would be noticed by law enforcement. Don't you think? I assume there's pictures of her, right, with her ripped clothes and blood and whatever. I guess that wasn't enough. Or maybe that, too, is a stretch of the truth. I guess we'll never, ever know, right? So here is what this lovely lady did. She posted Goldman's picture, links to his Facebook and LinkedIn profiles, in lengthy messages detailing the alleged assault, and accuses him of being a serial rapist. She added a MeToo hashtag and linked to his current school, the New Jersey Institute of Technology. Quote, I write this post because this is not the first time Alex Goldman has raped someone, and I want to make sure that it's the last, she claims in a post earlier this month. Actually, this was June. She also posted a screenshot, get this now, of what appeared to be a message exchange with Goldman's employer, Bowler Engineering, and bragged that she got him fired. No shit. Quote, due to the severity of the allegations and our zero-tolerance policy, we have elected to immediately terminate the employment relationship, the company replied in the screenshot posted on Reddington's social media. You see, allegations, man, men can learn from that. Well, except when they get kicked out of college and they lose their job because of an allegation that had been investigated and proven to be not a crime. How can you say, honestly, I was raped by this guy, anally and vaginally, and they took the swabs and there's no evidence of it? Well, I suppose you could say, well, he wore a condom. Well, that'd be an interesting thing for a rapist to do, I suppose, if he's a serial rapist like she says. But there's no evidence of that either. She writes, thank you to everyone for reposting and spreading the word on the monster that Alex Goldman is. Reddington wrote alongside a post with a message from the employer who fired the guy. Onondaga District Attorney Bill Fitzpatrick said his office takes sexual assault cases seriously. But in this case, the evidence wasn't there. Quote, what she has alleged about this office and this young man is simply not accurate, Fitzpatrick told the Post. I don't know what her motivation is for that. Goldman chose to sue Reddington because he could not sit idly by, says his lawyer. Mr. Goldman will do everything possible to recover his good name. Reddington declined comment, calling it a matter in the courts. So I certainly understand here. For example, if the scenario were different, right? Say these two had sex and there's some question about consent. They were too drunk or whatever, and they found his, semen and whatever all over his DNA. and they dismissed it. Oh, okay, yeah, I can understand being a little bit more upset about that. But they found none of this stuff. No evidence that they even had sex. How in the world is this woman still doing this stuff? What is she hoping to gain? You know, she's saying she's trying to protect other women from being raped by this serial rapist, of which there is no evidence whatsoever. No one has accused this guy of raping them before, evidently. I suspect if there was something like that in his past history, it would have shown up in one of these news stories, because there are hundreds of them online. I'll link a few below. So next time feminists say, oh, well, 2%, it's a rounding error. Don't worry. Yeah, men will learn from the experience. She got the guy kicked out of school. She got him fired. She put the guy through a police investigation which found no DNA evidence or even any evidence these two had actually had sex on the night in question. She did everything right. The police, it sounds like, did everything right. There was no evidence. Whatever this woman said happened didn't. But yet this man loses his job, his employment, and his educational opportunity at Syracuse University. So, false allegations, ladies. It might not affect you, but the man you accuse could literally have his life destroyed, just like this man. James Maxwell, thank you for listening.